Today I talk about the non-linearity of life and why it makes life so confusing if you don't recognize it. Welcome to episode number 37 of the Luebbers journey. Fun fact, number 37 was actually my first ever number on my high school soccer jersey. And I scored my first goal in it, and it's always retained a pretty powerful significance for me. So I wanted to make this an important episode, and I think it is an important episode. So here's where I'll start with my introduction to nonlinearity, and what that means if you're not familiar with the term. When I was in college studying physics, I would go through a period in all new classes, particularly the difficult ones, the most rigorous ones, linear algebra, for example, and a bunch of my physics classes, where I was trying really hard to understand the material, and it just didn't click. Like, I would do problems, I would read the book, and I would put in hours consistently to try to understand it, and it would just remain, some portion of it would remain like out of my grasp, and it would be really, really frustrating. And then always at some point, usually I think it was around a month in, I would just wake up one morning and I would understand it. I would just go, oh, so that's how that works. That's actually really simple. I get it now. And it was the weirdest thing, and it didn't really, it was frustrating at first, because the way that we learn is not linear, and this applies to a lot of things, but learning certainly. The way that we learn isn't like steps up, or maybe it is like steps up, but it's not like a steady increase. If anything, it's like, yeah, maybe it is like a step. It's like we feel like we're flat for a while, like we're not learning anything, and then we just make a jump, a completely nonlinear spike in our path. And linear versus nonlinear just means whether the line is straight. If it's linear, it's straight. If it's nonlinear, then it has some sort of bend in it. And humans think most naturally in a linear fashion, sort of like laying bricks. We lay this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and then this happens. So we often have trouble understanding nonlinear things, or even if we understand them, we don't necessarily take them into account and factor them into the way we think about things. Another example is, and I think that's a really great example, actually, the example of learning, because everybody's had this experience of being just really frustrated and feeling like they're putting in consistent work, but they're not making consistent progress, and then all of a sudden, overnight, you have a breakthrough, and you understand something. Another context in which I think about this is, I've had a really sort of annoying past 2 months. I've been just chronically fatigued. I'm going to see a doctor because there's something, and get some blood work done, because there's something that's just causing this fatigue, and I'm not able to perform at a high level, and it's been really, really frustrating. But one of the things that it's helped me realize is another area of nonlinearity. In other words, I was talking to my business partner about it, and why I feel like I'm just so useless when I can't execute, when I don't have the energy, and I'm just really tired. And he helped me point out that I've gone through over 12 months of intense stress building my first 3 businesses. Was the most stressful period of my life. I went below broke multiple times, got into massive amounts of debt, and just was constantly living on edge. And then I broke through and felt safe and did everything I needed to be on track to pay off my debt, and I've been good for a while now. And what I tried to do was just dive back in and start working again and start grinding and hustling. And my body just said, no, you need a break. And I just couldn't work. I just slept for long periods of time. But I actually view this as another expression of the nonlinearity of life. It's not like a a video game where you can finish one level and hop into the next. You need actual time to recharge. You need to, your path can't always be a steady climb. There are going to be spikes and there are going to be plateaus. And I've been in a plateau, and that's completely natural. And it's actually better for me to recognize that and embrace it, because there are positive aspects of it as well, rather than fight against it. And so something that I found really valuable, and hopefully you can take away from this video, is life is in so many ways nonlinear. It's not a steady progress, but rather a completely, often unpredictable series of nonlinear jumps. And sometimes you'll be really, really frustrated, and you'll feel like everything is going wrong. I've certainly felt this way, and then you'll have a breakthrough, and everything will be amazing. And it's not always steady, incremental progress. And even if it is steady, incremental progress, you still have periods where you feel like you're plateauing a little more, and you feel like you're spiking a little more. And one of the tricky things is that this doesn't mean at all that you should work in a nonlinear fashion. In fact, consistency is the best way. Working consistently and executing consistently, I've found, is the best way to mitigate the nonlinearity and the unpredictability that comes with life. But something that I always keep in mind is the moment that I feel most frustrated, whenever my frustration is at my peak, I've learned to take a sort of joy in that, because that frustration always comes before a breakthrough, whether it's solving a physics problem, whether it's perfecting a certain dance technique, whether it's gaining more clients and making a breakthrough in my business. The nonlinearity of life often means that our moments of greatest frustration come before our moments of greatest triumph. Would love to hear about any such moments that you've experienced, going from frustration to victory or cracking something. And I hope you found this interesting. I certainly think this is an important topic and is fitting for my 37th video, and we will talk tomorrow.